Hey guys, this is Josh F151 Tech back with another video. And in this video, I just wanted to make a quick video and kind of voice my displeasure with a feature that Google actually added back to Android 17. Now, I'm actually running the Android 17 beta 4.1, I believe it is, which is actually the next to the stable release. So, in Android 17, they actually decided to bring back the separate the Wi-Fi and the data. As you guys can see, the toggles up here. So there's actually one problem with that. And before Android 17, like you would be able to like have your cellular data and your Wi-Fi like on the same toggle or whatever you want to call it. So they were both together. So now they're separated again, and that's how they've been like since I think it was like Android 14 or something like that. They started actually putting them both together, but I didn't really like that, and a lot of other people didn't either. But Google is up to their shenanigans again, if you want to call it that. So they're supposed to be making it a one tap on and a one tap off. So in the Android 17 4.1 beta, like I said, I believe I'm on. I actually tap on the Wi-Fi here. I can actually show you guys. If I tap on the Wi-Fi here, the toggle, it goes right off, and then my mobile data comes on automatically because I have root access, so I have a automate schedule like to be able to do that. So don't mind that. So that wouldn't happen for you guys. I have it set up that way on my phone since it's rooted, and since the Wi-Fi and cellular data can be kind of inconsistent around where I live. So like I said, I did that because it's automatically done. But if I go to the cellular data here, let me actually turn on the Wi-Fi. And as you can see, my cellular data goes off automatically because that's how I have it set up with my rooted phone. So don't mind that. But if I go to turn on the mobile data, it says turn on mobile data. It says using mobile data may incur charges based on your mobile service plan. So then I just ignore that and tap turn on. And yeah, I mean that might not seem like that big of a deal, but the thing is, it's still not a one tap turn on. So every time I want to turn on my mobile data, if I tap it again, turn on mobile data with a question mark, and it says using mobile data may incur charges based on your mobile service plan. Okay, well, I have unlimited data, so I really don't care about that. So like they're throwing in something there that is not needed. Like the only way that you can really get these toggles back, guys, is if you use a third party app or something like that, because Google, they are just so persistent in like messing with Android with this kind of stuff. Like just give us the toggles back. Like, we don't need, a question asking me turn on mobile data. I understand in a way, if you have a limited data plan or something like that, like a friend of mine actually still does. Like if you have a older plan, like something like that, or you're grandfathered in and you only have a certain amount of data, but give us the option to actually one tap this. I can't turn this off. So basically, it's still two taps. Like I said, I'll do it again, and then I have to tap turn on. And the weird thing is, it's one tap to turn it off. So like you have to give us our toggles back. Just leave the toggles alone. And like I said, if you have a limited data plan, then you can tell them. You can be like Google, hey, let me turn this off. And that's really one of the most frustrating pardon me, with Android, is that Google, like, they throw these things in there and they don't give us an option to turn them on or off. Like, I don't have a limited data plan, Google. So, I'm actually on Google Fi. So, give me that option to actually turn my data on as I please without a question mark asking me if I want to turn my data on. I mean, what, kind of BS is that? I mean, that's just my little rant. I apologize if this sounds like it's crazy, but it's not really crazy, because if this is gonna be in the final Android 17 release, then this needs to have a option to be able to turn that off, so we can just get the separate Wi-Fi and the data toggles, and we can both we can use both of them how they're meant to be used. Just tap once to turn on the Wi-Fi, tap once to turn off the Wi-Fi, tap once to turn on the data, tap once to turn off the data. Like I said, I have it set up to where if my Wi-Fi goes out or something, I automatically switch to data, and then vice versa. So, if I can do that via root access using an app called Automate, then Google can definitely do it with separate toggles. I mean, it's just something that irks me, and I hope that this is not going to be in the final release of Android 17. But like I said, on beta 4.1, I believe it's called, and it's been very stable. And I will let you guys know that the battery life on Android 17 so far sucks. So that's another bad thing. I was about to say good thing. But that's another bad thing. So that's definitely not good. And I'm running a new phone on this, the Google Pixel 10a. So that's definitely not a good thing. Two things right there that are not really making me happy with Android 17. So, like I said, it might not be in the final release, but I'm pretty certain that it's gonna be. That might sound really nitpicky. That might sound crazy. Some people might say, Josh, it's not that big of a deal. You can just use a third-party app to be able to do that. And yeah, I can. But the problem with that is not everybody roots their phones, and not everybody, wants to download a third-party app for something simple like that. So yeah, that's really my rant. But so anyway, guys, like I said, I just wanted to get a quick video out about that, and I do think that Google just needs to give us back our separate toggles, our tiles, whatever you want to call them, and just one tap each. One tap on, one tap off. But that doesn't seem to, unfortunately, be the reality that we're faced with in Android 17. And like I said, it's been like this ever since, I think they started it on Android 14 or 15 or something like that, and people were not happy. I was one of them. Having the cellular data and the Wi-Fi both together in one toggle. It's just I hate it. I just don't understand why they want to do something like that, because even with it like that, you have to double tap to access the Wi-Fi or the data. So that might seem, simple to some. It might seem stupid to some people, but if you think about it, it does, after a while, it can be time consuming, because it's just a extra step that you shouldn't have to do. So yeah, so that's basically all I got in this video, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to get a quick video out there, and if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and until next time, guys.